Hello, TOEFL students! Today, we are going to learn about skills 1 and 2 for the reading part of the TOEFL test. Skill 1, Main Idea. These are the questions that you will see on the TOEFL test that are about Skill 1. So, you want to remember these questions so that when you see these questions, you know to use the strategies for Skill 1. These are the strategies. Read the first sentence of each paragraph. These are the topic sentences for the paragraph. Look for key words. Remember, key words are important words. So look for these key words in the passage and then synonyms for these words in the answer choices. Eliminate answers which only refer to part of the passage. And remember to look for general ideas, not specific details. Let's look at some examples. Number 1. Which of the following best describes the topic of the passage? This is a Skill 1 question, so we need to read the first sentence. Fort Knox, Kentucky is the site of a U.S. Army post, but it is even more renowned for the Fort Knox Bullion Depository, the massive vault that contains the bulk of the U.S. government's gold deposits. So let's look at the answers. All of these answer choices are mentioned in the first sentence. But which one is the sentence really about? B. The Federal Gold Depository. Number 2. Which of the following would be the best title for this passage? This is also a Skill 1 question, and we've already read the first sentence. So let's look at the answers. A. The massive concrete vault. That's too specific. B. Fort Knox security. That answer is also too specific, and it was not in the first sentence. Remember, for Skill 1 questions, we need general answers, not specific answers. D. A visit to Kentucky. That is more general, but it's also off topic. We're not talking about Kentucky, we're talking about Fort Knox. So the best answer is C, where the United States keeps its gold. Let's look at some more examples of Skill 1 questions. Number 3. Which of the following best states the subject of this passage? So remember, for Skill 1, the strategy is to look at the first sentence. One identifying characteristic of minerals is their relative hardness, which can be determined by scratching one mineral with another. Answers A and C are too specific, and they are not in the first sentence. So we know that those are not the answers to this Skill 1 question. D, recognizing minerals in their natural state. The sentence does talk about minerals, but it does not talk about recognizing them or their natural state. So our answer is B, identifying minerals by means of a scratch test. The first sentence talks about identifying minerals and using a scratch test. So we know that this is our answer. Number 4. The main idea of this passage is that. This is another Skill 1 question, and we have already read the first sentence. So let's look at the answers and try to eliminate answers that are obviously wrong because they're too specific. B, C, and D are all very specific answers. But A is more general, and A is in the first sentence and with more detail in the second sentence. So we know that A is the best answer for this question. Skill 2 is organization of ideas. Here are the common questions that you will see for this skill. When you see questions that look like these on the test, you will know to use the strategies for Skill 2. The strategies for Skill 2 are to read the first sentence of the appropriate paragraphs. If the question is asking about paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, then you would read the first sentence of paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. You should also look for words that show relationships between paragraphs, and then choose the answer that best expresses the relationship. So let's look at some examples of questions for Skill 2. Question number 1. How is the information in the passage organized? So this question does not ask about a specific paragraph. It asks about the whole passage. So, just like we do in Skill 1, we should read the first sentence of each paragraph. Let's start at the beginning. Conflict within an organization is not always viewed as undesirable. According to the traditional view of conflict, conflict is harmful to an organization. The interactionalist view of conflict, on the other hand, holds that conflict can serve an important function in an organization by reducing complacency among workers and causing positive changes to occur. Now let's look at the answers, and first we can eliminate any obviously wrong answers. A. The origin of ideas about conflict is presented. The sentences do talk about conflict, but they do not talk about the origin of these ideas. So that is not our answer. C. Two theorists discuss the strengths and weaknesses of their views on conflicts. Theorists are people. There are not two different theorists in these sentences. So that is not the answer. D. examples of conflict within organizations are presented? No, we did not see any examples. Now let's look at B. Contrasting views of conflict are presented. Yes, this is true. Look at the first sentence in the second paragraph. According to the traditionalist view of conflict, so that's one view, conflict is harmful. Then the first sentence in the third paragraph, the interactionalist view of conflict. Okay, so we have two different views. Holds that conflict can serve an important function. So we have two views about conflict that are contrasting. They are different. One says conflict is harmful, that it is bad, and the other view says conflict is important, it is good. So B is the correct answer. Number 3. What type of information is included in the first paragraph? Okay, it says the first paragraph. So we know we need to read the first sentence in the first paragraph. IQ, or intelligence quotient, is defined as the ratio of a person's mental age to chronological age, with the ratio multiplied by 100 to remove the decimal. So what type of information is in that sentence? B. It is a definition of IQ. Look, it even says IQ is defined as blah, 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 blah. So we have the word defined, it's a definition, our answer is B. Number 4, click on the paragraph that describes the application of IQ in the real world. So let's once again look at the first sentences. We already read the first sentence in the first paragraph. Now let's look at the first sentence in the second paragraph. In theory, a standardized IQ test is set up to measure an individual's ability to perform intellectual operations such as reasoning and problem solving. Okay, paragraph 3. In practice, it has been impossible to arrive at a consensus as to which types of intellectual operations demonstrate intelligence. So the second paragraph is about theory, and the third is about practice. Let's look at question 4 again. We're looking for the paragraph that describes the application in the real world. So we want in practice. So the answer is paragraph 3. For today, you need to read over the questions and the strategies for Skill 1 and Skill 2 so that you can recognize these questions and what strategies you need to use when you see them on the test. So read this over and then do the activity for today. There are 10 questions that are either Skill 1 or Skill 2 questions. Read these over and submit them on Google Classroom. If you have any questions or you need my help, you can send me a message and I will help you. Good luck!